There's something almost poetic about watching raw scrap metal transform into one of the most critical components in a massive engine. And that's exactly what happens at Schmiedewerke Groditz, a German forge and steel company that's been shaping heavy metal, quite literally, for over a century. What makes this facility truly extraordinary is that they don't just machine crankshafts. They melt their own steel, right on site, using an electric arc furnace, or EAF. And here's the kicker. 100% of the raw material feeding that furnace is recycled metal scrap. Old car parts, industrial offcuts, decommissioned machinery, all of it gets a second life inside this plant. The electric arc furnace works by generating temperatures exceeding 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit using powerful electrical arcs between graphite electrodes and the scrap charge. The result is a precisely controlled melt pool of high-grade alloy steel, custom formulated for crankshaft applications, where extreme torsional stress, fatigue resistance, and dimensional accuracy are non-negotiable. Once the steel is poured and solidified into billets, the real magic begins. Massive forging presses, some applying over 6,000 tons of pressure, shape the rough crankshaft form through hot die forging. Then it enters a series of CNC turning, milling, and grinding operations that bring tolerances down to within just a few microns. That's thinner than a single human hair. Watching this process, you realize it's not just manufacturing, it's craftsmanship at industrial scale. From scrap pile to precision machined crankshaft, Schmiedewerke Groditz represents what German engineering has always stood for: quality, ingenuity, and the relentless pursuit of excellence. If you've ever driven down a highway at 70 miles per hour without your wheels wobbling off, you can thank precision turning tools like the Coroturn Prime Twin from Sandvik Coromant. The wheel spindle, also called the wheel hub carrier or upright, is the structural piece that connects your wheel assembly to the suspension system. It's under constant stress, and it absolutely cannot fail, which is why machining it demands the very best in cutting technology. Enter the Coroturn Prime Twin, a dual-sided insert tooling system that's revolutionizing how spindles are turned on CNC lathes. Unlike conventional single-sided inserts, this system features two cutting edges that allow the machine to alternate between them automatically, effectively doubling tool life and dramatically reducing downtime. The insert geometry is engineered to handle high-feed roughing and fine finishing in a single setup, reducing part handling and dramatically improving cycle times. Cutting speeds of up to 1,000 surface feet per minute are achievable, while chip control remains clean and predictable, critical for maintaining a safe, efficient shop floor. What you're watching here is modern precision turning at its finest, every pass of that insert removing just the right amount of material, building toward a perfect spindle that'll keep wheels turning safely mile after mile. Jonesway is one of Asia's leading hand tool manufacturers, with an international reputation for quality that punches well above its price point. Their wrenches go through 6 major production stages before they ever reach your toolbox, and each one matters. Step 1. Hot forging. It all starts with a bar of chrome vanadium alloy steel, the gold standard for hand tools because of its exceptional strength-to-weight ratio and resistance to deformation under torque. That bar gets loaded into a furnace and heated to around 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit until it glows bright orange. Then it's moved quickly to a hydraulic forging press or drop hammer that can deliver thousands of tons of impact force. In a single stroke, the hot steel is shaped into the rough profile of a wrench. Step 2. Flash trimming, deburring. After hot forging, the blank is surrounded by what's called flash, thin excess metal that was squeezed out around the die seam during the press stroke. You've seen it if you've ever watched someone open a plastic mold. A trimming press fitted with a precision die punches out the flash in one clean operation, leaving behind a wrench silhouette that's clean on the outside but still needs a lot of work on the inside. Step 3. Heat treatment. This is where science meets metallurgy. The forged wrench blank goes through a two-step heat treatment process. First, quenching, where the steel is rapidly cooled in an oil or water bath after being heated to its austenitizing temperature. This rapid quench transforms the microstructure of the steel into martensite, an extremely hard crystalline phase. But martensite alone is too brittle, so the wrench then goes through tempering, reheating it to a lower temperature and holding it there to reduce brittleness while preserving hardness. The target hardness for a professional-grade wrench typically falls between 40 and 45 HRC on the Rockwell scale, hard enough to resist wear, but tough enough not to shatter under a hard pull. Step 4. Grinding and polishing. Now the wrench hits the surface finishing lines. Belt grinders, rotary grinding wheels, and vibratory finishing machines progressively smooth out the forging marks, parting lines, and rough surface texture left by the forging and trimming operations. By the time the wrench leaves this stage, it's smooth to the touch and dimensionally accurate. The jaw opening is checked against gauges to ensure it meets ANSI or DIN tolerance standards. Step 5. Chrome electroplating. Here's where Johnsway's wrenches get that mirror-bright shine. The wrench is cleaned ultrasonically, then passed through a series of electrolytic baths. First, a nickel undercoat is deposited to create a smooth base and improve corrosion resistance. Then, a thin layer of hexavalent or trivalent chromium is plated on top. Step 6. Laser engraving. The final step is laser marking, arguably the most precise operation in the entire production line. A focused laser beam etches the Johnsway logo, the wrench size marking, the steel grade designation, and any other product information directly into the chrome surface, permanently and with razor-sharp precision. No ink, no labels, no stickers that peel off in a greasy shop, just clean, permanent identification that lasts the life of the tool. Out on the flat, windswept plains of the Netherlands, something remarkable is rising from the earth. Enormous white towers, stretching hundreds of feet into the sky, each one a GE wind turbine, capable of powering thousands of homes with nothing but moving air. Installing one of these giants is one of the most complex heavy-lift operations in modern civil engineering. The turbine you're watching being installed is part of GE Renewable Energy's Heliade or Cypress series, some of the most powerful onshore turbines ever built, with rotor diameters stretching up to 158 meters and capacity ratings of 5 to 6 megawatts per unit. To put that in perspective, a single turbine at full output can power over 5,000 average American homes. The installation begins long before the first crane arrives. A deep concrete foundation, sometimes requiring over 400 cubic yards of reinforced concrete, is poured and cured over several weeks. Anchor bolts are embedded with millimeter precision because every component stacked above depends on that foundation being exactly right. Then come the tower sections. Each tubular steel section can weigh over 80 tons and must be lifted and bolted into alignment using high-capacity crawler cranes, machines with lift ratings of 500 to 500 metric tons. Bolting these flanged sections together requires applying calibrated torque values, sometimes exceeding 10,000 foot-pounds, using hydraulic tensioning tools. The nacelle, that boxy housing at the top that contains the gearbox, generator, and control systems, goes up next. It alone can weigh over 400 tons and houses technology worth millions of dollars. Then the rotor hub is attached, and finally, in a process that can take an entire day, each of the 3 massive blades is lifted individually and bolted to the hub. Wind turbine installation is where mechanical engineering, civil construction, and precision logistics all converge. Watching one of these machines come together piece by piece is a reminder that the clean energy future we're building isn't just a promise. It's already being assembled, bolt by bolt, hundreds of feet in the air. Inside virtually every electric motor on the planet, from the tiny fan in your laptop to the massive drive motors in factory machines, there's a winding. A precisely layered coil of copper wire wrapped around a core generating the electromagnetic field that turns electrical energy into mechanical motion. And wrapping those windings by hand? That's the old way. Today, automated coil winding machines do it faster, more consistently, and with a precision no human hand can match. What you're watching here is a modern CNC coil winding machine in action. These machines are programmable down to the finest detail. Wire gauge, typically ranging from 14 Aruban florins all the way down to 40 Aruban florins. Winding tension, number of turns per layer, layer count, pitch angle, and lead wire positioning. Every parameter is dialed in to match the motor's exact design specification. The machine's spindle rotates the bobbin or core at precise speeds while a wire guide traverses back and forth, laying each turn of copper wire with consistent tension, usually controlled by a closed-loop servo tensioner. Too tight, and the wire's insulation cracks. Too loose, and the winding is sloppy, reducing efficiency and potentially causing insulation breakdown. After winding, the coil is often vacuum impregnated with varnish or resin to lock the turns in place, improve heat resistance, and protect against moisture. This process, called impregnation and curing, is what gives motor windings their long service life, sometimes decades, even under continuous thermal and mechanical stress. It's easy to overlook the humble winding coil, but without it, there are no electric motors, and without electric motors, the modern world simply stops. Pretty remarkable for a spool of copper wire,